Yo, welcome back to a brand new episode of First Team All Purpose with your boy Sean. I am with my co-host JD. How you feeling today, my brother?
What's goody, bro? I'm all right, man. How you feel? How you holding up?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm hanging in there. I'm still kind of on this high from covering the WNBA finals. It was a ride, man. Our son, the sun came up just short to A'ja Wilson's aces and Chelsea Gray and Kelsey Plum and all those, dope girls. But it was a great experience, honestly, man. It was good and bad in a lot of ways. The good is that, you got to experience a championship series around, right? This is the first time, on a professional level that, I've been in that space, me and Janelle, obviously one of our photographers here at Designated Report. So everybody and their grandmother was there. I mean, you saw some of the stuff. Isaiah Thomas was there, courtside, Bill Lambier, what's buddy's name from the Celtics? He's always there. Grant Williams, he's there.
Williams, yeah.
Because, Boston's like an hour drive from where they play in Connecticut.
I heard the game was a sellout.
What is it?
The game was a sellout, right?
It was, yeah. Both games were sold out.
10K, yep.
So it was a good vibe, man. And again, all the media people were there. And that's kind of like the bad of it, that all the media people are so there that it's taking up all the space that you've been working in all year. And you know how that works. Once you start getting into politics, I don't even think it's politics so much as it is like ranks, if for the lack of the term. And you're in the same space as the ESPN, as the Fox, as the WNBA, as the NBA. Those people start getting prioritized. The seats that you've been, awarded all year. So that's like that was the annoying part of it. That I was like, I've been covering this team all year. Here you come trying to take my seat because you work for this company. So that was a little annoying. But Adam Silver was actually there on game 4.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He walked in and they announced him. I was looking and I was, oh wow, Adam Silver's he's in the building to see the Aces potentially win the championship, and they did.
You didn't get a chance to chop it up with him?
No, I was too busy shooting, bro. We were active, man, because there was so much happening so fast that I didn't want to miss anything. I actually wanted to shoot at him, but by the time that I turned around and get a picture or a video, this man disappeared to whatever box suite they had him sitting in. So if he did, but I didn't see him sitting down where I thought he was going to be sitting, which was like a few rows down right in front of us. So that's some of the good and some of the bad, but the super high was A'ja Wilson. After the Aces won the championship, A'ja, was having her moment. All the girls were having their moment. And as they are, being presented the trophy, A'ja is just cutting up. Like, she got her sunglasses on. She's acting a fool. And one of the blessing and the curse part is me and Janelle were late to try to get on the court because we were just so in the moment. And, the camera folk, all these big network folk, they've been here before. They know what to do. So they rush, right? They rush the court and they have like this tape around from where, is restricted. And again, we were so late that we couldn't get to that spot because there was already 50 cameramen literally around the entire team as they're doing the trophy presentation. And so we're trying to shoot from where we can to try to capture some of it. And I think that's kind of like what became a positive in the shot. The shot that A'ja Wilson currently has as her profile picture right now on Instagram.
On IG,
it's actually her profile picture on Twitter too, but she changed like 3 different ones. She's in her bag right now, but it's still on the gram. And it's a shot of me capturing it literally just from outside of where she is, where all the camera people are. And you could still see in the picture all the photographers, the videographers in her face, and she's like tilting her glasses down to face them. But like the candid off shot is what became, essentially the one. And I posted it on Twitter and on my Instagram as well. And A'ja, she
reposted it. Yep.
She reposted it. And then on top of that, LeBron goes and he takes the picture and he reposted. And I was just looking, I remember I sent it, I was like, oh shoot, that's my flick. It felt pretty dope. The down part of that is everyone was on my heels like, bro, why didn't you tag that picture? Like, because I was just I honestly.
Why didn't you tag that picture?
Yeah, why didn't I tag it like with my watermark or DR or something like
that? Yeah, because heat in the moment.
I honestly did it from my car. I was driving home. And I was uploading some pictures. I was like, I want to get a post off before I, do my post game elaborate type thing. And quickly edited it in the car, bro, posted it. I didn't even think about all that. I didn't think anything was gonna be made of that, but I'm like, they're like, yo, Asian, it was like LeBron has a gazillion people following him. So you never know what that could have became of that. But I'm like,
But
it
when
is.
she reposted it, she tagged you in one of the posts, right?
I don't know. I don't and on Instagram?
On IG, I'm pretty sure if you go back, it says photo by Sean Alcide.
Asia Wilson?
I'm,
I
I'm
know, I
pretty sure.
know, I know Ari Chambers, who was
Oh, it might have been Ari. Yeah, you're right.
Ari, she
You're
tagged.
right.
She does a wonderful job
Yeah.
of just always showing love. Nah, but I was just like, I didn't even think about tagging my photo and all that stuff. And it goes back to a story before we get into some of our topics that Janelle told me about how the Cool Mac guy, the Cool Mac, the guy who shoots all of LeBron and
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
stuff with like the super dark but bright edits.
Mhm.
That's kind of how he got on. He took a shot or something of LeBron or Bronny, posted it. LeBron liked the picture, reposted it. This kid woke up the next day with a gazillion followers,
Followers.
and
The rest is history, as they say.
now he works for now he works with Clutch in the camp. So this is kind of how things happen. But yeah,
Look, man, I'm saying these past 2 weeks, the amount of content we've been pumping out, man, is coming though. It's coming.
Yeah, there's definitely, everyone keeps saying that. It seems like you're just in the space of any minute now, things could change. So
Facts.
the marathon continues in the words of Nipsey Hussle. We're gonna get into some NFL topics, man. We're in week 2, going into week 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I think by now, we're not necessarily sure what is going to become of, the remainder of the 15 games now, because there's 17 games, but we do know who has disappointed us or who has surprised us the most, whether it's a team or player. Which two teams or players, or which team or player would you say has been the biggest surprise for you so far in 2022?
Well, I always know what a team is going to be after week 4. I think after week 4 or 5, you kind of get a gist of how good your team is going to be. If they're going to be middle of the road, or if they're going to be, superb, or if they're just totally going to suck. But the most surprising thing to me right now is how bad the Denver Broncos offense is, right? When you go out, it's alarming to me because you go out, you pay close to 250 for a star quarterback, a former Super
165
Bowl
guaranteed.
right? A Super Bowl winning QB at that. You go out there, you guys aren't putting up any points. But here's the most alarming thing when it comes to that is the opponents that they played. They lost to Seattle and they struggled against the Texans, who are probably going to be 2 of the worst teams in the entire league. And you guys can barely put up points against these 2 teams. So what happens when you look at their schedule and they're playing playoff contention type teams? That's not a good look, man. So if anything, I'm most surprised that Denver Broncos are struggling on offense as much as they are.
I got to tell you, I am stunned. I'm stunned you didn't go with your Raiders being 0-2. I'm stunned.
Yeah, it was this close, man. It was this close. That Arizona game, and I don't think Arizona's a good team at all. And they lost against the Chargers.
The Arizona team you're killing just last week, by the way, just beat your Raiders in overtime.
Yeah. I mean, but look, man. I feel like they can still turn it around. I think there's 2 teams that's going to make it to the playoffs in that division. But, I mean, Denver cannot score against anyone.
Yeah.
Like, who's the Texans QB?
David Mills, some second.
David Mills, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like,
no, Russ has definitely been underwhelming so far. And I don't know if it's more the coaching or if it's just not a good fit out there in Denver. I never understood why he wanted to go to Denver in the first place. I'm like, they don't have the guys that Peyton had, like the Eric Deckers and the.
But they have playmakers though. They got Judy. They got
But Judy's unproven. As much as I love Judy, he hasn't really proven it. Like, I was more surprised that Russ was willing to go take that chance. But then again, he got a 5-6 year contract in total. So maybe he's
okay. So if you were him in hindsight, what team do you feel like would have fit him better?
Oh, you play right into my wheelhouse. I've been saying this since the end of last season, since actually mid last season. Russell Wilson was born to be a New York Football Giant, and they needed to couple him by bringing Odell Beckham Jr. home to bring that team back. Because the Giants' defense is very, very good. The Giants are actually they're the team in football right now that is leading the league in passes completed against them. They're not giving up a lot of completions, especially no big.
Bro, they played Tannenhill and Baker Mayfield. Let's keep it into perspective, though.
Tannehill's not very good. I agree, but Tannehill
And Baker is the worst.
Right, but again, it is what it is. Through week 2, these are the numbers. I think Russ, I can't believe, the Giants, maybe the Giants didn't want to give up all their assets to get a Russ, and they were going to see what Daniel Jones has or rebuild through the draft next year with CJ Stroud, one of those guys coming out, Bryce Young, one of those guys coming out the draft. But I thought it made so much sense with a ready defense. They have Saquon coming back, at least for this year. You got James Toney that, they could try to utilize the way that they used Percy Harvin down in Seattle. You bring OBJ home after winning a Super Bowl. Now, obviously, he's injured. That happened after I, brought this whole thing together. But if OBJ recovers and the Giants are this, 2-0 now with a chance to be 3-0 against Dallas next week, you're looking at a team that could possibly use a playmaker in the playoffs, right? And also it gives my guy a shot at redemption. So maybe there's a little bias in there, of course. But I just thought Denver. I never understood Denver.
All right. So what's your biggest surprise so far in this young season?
My biggest surprises are actually quite disappointments. I have 3 that I'm going to tie into. Well, not 3. I'll go 2 because I don't want to do my boy like that. The Cincinnati Bengals, who you kind of said would go through this hangover. I mean, who thought this hangover would be, the action from the movie with Mike Tyson and tattoo on his face? Like, this is horrid. They lost to, a Pittsburgh Steelers team that has Mitch Trubisky on opening day. All right, we're like, okay, game 1, they snuck up on you. Bow, they got you. You cannot lose to Cooper Rush in the Dallas Cowboys. This is not Dak's Cowboys. This is Cooper Rush in the Dallas Cowboys. You cannot lose to them. And now they're facing 0-2 in a division that we think they're probably going to split with the Bengals. I mean, with the Ravens. They're already split at best with the Steelers, and they're probably going to split with the Browns because by the time, I don't know the schedule, but they might see Deshaun, or again, since he maybe not be that good that they need Deshaun to even beat them.
And they spent bread on their O-line, which is shocking because they're giving up so many sacks.
We talked about that. He was already sacked like 6 times on Friday, on Sunday against the Cowboys. So for me, it's a tie between them and the Indianapolis Colts. I cannot believe how bad the Colts look. I mean, we talked about.
I'm upset that you guys keep saying that.
I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders. They should not be 0-2. They should not have lost, first and foremost, to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And now they tied, I think, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they definitely should not have lost to the Texans. That's just.
Bro, who's their QB?
Matt Ryan.
Okay, then. Like, why we keep doing this to ourselves? Why?
Because they have better players than the other team. That's why.
But the main playmaker guy that has to feed your playmakers should have retired 5 seasons ago. So why do we keep doing that?
They have arguably the best running back in football.
Yes.
And the best defense in football.
But when teams know that your QB cannot pass the ball anymore, we're going to stack the box, and you have to prove that you can beat us with his arm. We know that already.
So Matt Ryan can't make a throw?
Bro, he's been done. Come on, man. Like, we know this. Like, I'm tight that we keep on going. Like, I'm not talking elite. I'm not even giving you that. I'm not giving you the Colts. I don't want to hear about the Colts. Going back to the Bengals, I agree with you. But remember, I tweeted this. The Bengals are not a team built on franchise foundation. Meaning, right, you have teams like the Patriots, Packers, Steelers. They're always going to make the playoffs because they have a sense of foundation. These teams that make these incredible hot runs that make it to the Super Bowl, almost 99% of the time guaranteed the following season they're not going to have a season. I try to warn you, but I mean, it's still early though. But think about it like this, right? Baltimore should be 2-0. Cleveland should be 2-0. Pittsburgh is fighting every game.
Yeah, I don't know how Pittsburgh let the Patriots.
That defense real.
Yeah. No, I think so. I guess we're not talking about the Colts. I just thought there's no way. It's the teams they lost to. It's not that they're 0-2. It's the teams that they lost to. Teams they should have beaten. You got to beat the Jaguars, and you have to beat the Texans. That should be 2. That's 2 divisional games that is, if they're even thinking about, turning it around, are probably going to haunt them down the stretch, because you're already split with, at worst, with two of the bottom teams in your division.
We both pick coming out of that division.
The Titans, man, and they suck.
Oh my Lord.
And they suck. I'm done with Tannehill, so I refuse to talk about him. But yeah,
you done with Tannehill, but you're not done with Matt Ryan. Come on.
I'm not. It's not about Matt Ryan. It's about who's on that team. They have a very good roster. They got good receivers. They have the best defense in the league, and they have arguably the best running back in football.
You know who you remind me of right now, saying all this, is like the same situation that the Jets are in. When you watch these Jets games, we have playmakers on both sides of the ball. We have wide receivers. We have good running backs. Our tight ends are good. But it's just the QB is holding us back. I mean, Joe Flacco pulled that game out, but we can't count on him for 17 games. So right. Joe Flacco is literally the Matt Ryan of the Baker Mayfields. They're not going to make your team win consistently.
You love Baker. You talk about me. You bring that man up as many times as you could.
To shade you.
Yeah, all right. All right.
To shade you.
we just talked about no Baker. You talked about Baker. I ain't talking about Baker. We just talked about our surprises, right? And it's been disappointments. Who do we think? I want to get your top 5 teams through week 2. I know it's early, and a lot is going to change between now and the next couple of weeks. Who are your top 5 teams, starting with the 5th best team to the top team in your All
right. So I'm gonna run this down real quick. I wrote it. So number 5, and I'm gonna give you the rationale. Number 5, I'm gonna go with the Ravens. They should be 2-0. Lamar Jackson is my MVP, like I stated, and so far, homie is balling out. Fantasy owners, I know you loving what this guy is doing, right?
Deuce.
This dude he's hitting like what, close to 80% of his passes or some crazy numbers like that. Hasn't thrown an interception yet, and I watched both games, and he is dropping dimes. Like, he bulked up a little bit, and he's still gonna give you the runs. He hit a grand slam 72-yard run, and the defense, if the defense can hold up again, now they're battling injuries again. Hopkins ain't back yet, and they lost 2 guys in the secondary.
Yeah,
that's why Waddle and Hill was going crazy. At number 4, huh?
They might sign Pierre-Paul from what I'm hearing, but we'll see.
Oh, I mean, he's definitely needed. All right, so number 4, I'm gonna go with the Chargers. Chargers only loss came against, was it the Bills? No, it was the Chiefs, right?
On Thursday.
Yeah, it was the Chiefs on Thursday. It was a competitive game, but Patty Mahomes got the best of them. And again, like with Herbert at the helm, they're definitely a playoff team. I'm gonna have to bite the bullet on what I said about the division, especially how Oakland is looking. I'm liking the Chargers for now. All right, number 3. I'm gonna go with the Eagles, man. Like both sides. I've always been a Jalen Hurts fan since his college years. I always felt like he got a raw deal, and just watching them last night, they tailor-made that offense to fit his strength. Like, they're not asking him to do anything out the ordinary, but everything that they are asking him to do, he's excelling, and he's creating, and he's finding guys, and they went out and got him players. So that's when a team believes in you. Like, they went out and they got A.J. Brown to be on the side with Smith, and they got Sanders, and they got a pretty good tight end. Their defense, their secondary are ball hogs. I mean, look, Kirk Cousins is going to make every secondary look good at the end of the day. But so far, 2 games in, I just like what Philly's doing. All right, number 2, we're going to go with the Chiefs, Patty Mahomes. I mean, you and I argued about Tyreek Hill. Tyreek put up that fantasy battle that you and I had this week.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm broke.
That was epic, though. I never had a matchup like that where I was up by 10, then I was down by 15. I went up by 12, then you went up by 9. And it was literally because of Waddle and Hill on opposite ends, And number 1, I'm going to just go with the Bills, man. Best team in football right now. Josh Allen's playing the best ball. Their defense is solid. They talking about Von Miller's old. I don't see it out on the field. Like, this dude they're sacking people. A lot of the times the defense could kind of be bend but don't break. But when they're focused and when they got you in 3rd and long, that's it. So Bills are my number 1 team power ranking right now.
That our fantasy matchup, that Waddle broke me. He broke me. And because I was at the game for the second half of that game, I was shooting the Sun game, the finals game, game 4. And the photographer who was sitting right next to me, he actually was taking videos. he kept checking because I kept on my phone. I had the game playing and I had the fantasy thing open. So when you were texting me, I'm losing my mind because I'm like, yo, Tyreek just went for 80. I'm about to really pull this off. And then, when they get the ball back and just Waddle just wouldn't stop. And the guy next to me, he had Waddle in his fantasy team. So I'm here like praying anybody catches the last touchdown but Waddle. I'm like, I don't care if you throw it to the coach, McDaniel. Do not throw Waddle the ball. And then he throws the ball and Waddle scores the game-winning touchdown. And I was so broken, bro. I was so mad. I tell you, I was so mad. I'm like, son.
Because I had Josh Allen left, so
I knew I was like, I need Waddle to not. He already had 28 points in the first half of that game. I was like, oh my God.
No, what had me on the edge of my seat is Tyreek didn't do nothing the first half.
He left the game with a crimp in the third quarter, and then he came back spazzing.
And I'm like, and I had to refresh. I'm like, how is he up? I'm like, how are you up right now? And it's like Tyreek Hill, 7 catches, 2 touchdowns. I'm like, wow, I'm gonna lose this game by Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I was hoping Tyreek caught the last touchdown. I think that would have helped me get over the top. But my tight ends gave me nothing. Derrick Henry it's not working out. He was my first pick, and he's killing me right now. So.
See, the Derrick Henry is the same as homie on the call, Jonathan Taylor. When your QB can't make plays for you, we're gonna stack the box and let you try to kill us, which you're not gonna do.
Yeah. My top 5 is very different from yours. I thought it would be closer than it actually is. My number 5 team is the Miami Dolphins. We got it. I mean, look, they're 2-0. Their defense is playing good ball, albeit, Lamar put up 42 fantasy points on them. That's Lamar Jackson, though. This is one of the best players in the league. That didn't surprise me. But their resilience, I think that says a lot about them. They're not going to play Lamar every week, or they're not going to play teams like Lamar every week. And teams, I think it's going to be very competitive between them all year. Anytime you play them, they're going to score points, right? Now, it's not always going to be pretty. Sometimes it's going to be gritty, but you're not going to control Tyreek and Waddle. And again,
so you're saying you're sold on Tua then?
I don't think he has to be special. That's the thing. Like on Sunday, the numbers were special, right? And Tua, I don't want to take it away from him. He was special, but he wasn't like those were plays the receivers made. Like 10-yarders, I'm taking it 80. 15-yarders or like short goal line stuff. Like the game-winning touchdown was very clutch. I like that he remained in the pocket. He didn't take off, and he stayed in there and made the pass to Waddle when it started to collapse. But I don't think he has to be fantastic because of those guys. They can take anything 80. Any given play, those guys can catch a 10-yard out, one miss, and it's a wrap. It's good night. So I'm sold on Tua enough. I think Sunday should definitely have people believing more in Tua than we did before, including myself.
I don't know after week 7 with Tua.
Okay, say less. So I got the Dolphins at 5. I have the Chargers at 4. I think the Chargers, you had them at 4. I think they are, I think they're the best team in the AFC West. I think if 2 things go differently in last Thursday's game, they win that game over the Chiefs. The pick 6, Gerald Everett definitely gave up on the play. Like he didn't even try. And that changed the entire game because Chargers were about to score a touchdown. And then Herbert getting hurt and him coming back anyway because he's a dog. I think they're number 14. At 3, I got the Kansas City Chiefs. I only have them at 3 because they're undefeated, and I think they look like they have something to prove this year. Like they lost in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Last year, they didn't even get back to the Super Bowl after losing at home to Joe Burrow. I think they're hungry this year. I like their defense. I don't love their defense yet. I do like it, but I think the offense is going to be fine, as I've been saying. Mahomes is he's just doing what he got to do. He's making everything work. At number 2, this might surprise you. I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. I think Mike Evans. I think their defense, man, they've obviously held Dallas to 3 points. Dallas was the highest scoring team last year. Now they don't have some of their weapons, but that's how the game goes sometimes. Tom Brady, I mean, he's just doing enough right now. Tom Brady, how it goes. Like the regular season doesn't even actually matter to him. It's all about those games building until you go down the stretch and going into the playoffs. I think I think Sunday is going to light a fire into him. They're going to play Green Bay on Sunday, and I think they're actually going to win pretty big against Green Bay. because, no Mike Evans. Brady's going to play for him because he put it basically a game on the line for Tom
So
Brady.
no Mike Evans and Godwin though.
Yes.
Who's he throwing to?
We said this in New England, did we not? We've always done this to Tom Brady. Who's he throwing to? They signed Cole Beasley, from what I'm hearing. Cole Beasley, he's Hunter Renfro-ish. He is in that slot. He's very nasty. I like Cole Beasley a lot. I don't think it'll be about that. I think there'll be more run game and a lot more short passing to running backs. And Leonard Fournette, he was on your fantasy team last year. You know how he gets in those situations. I think the Bucs are going to win that game. I got them at number 2. Number 1 is unanimous right now. The Bills. They're just making it look easy. They beat their last 2 opponents by a combined of like 72 to like 17. Yeah. Like that's not even that's Madden. I don't even think you could do that in Madden. So I think the Bills, right now they got that, man. I got the Dolphins 5, Chargers 4, Chiefs 3, Bucs 2, Bills at 1. Philly, I like Philly, but I still need to see more. I have them outside looking in. They will probably be my 16 if I did a top 6.
Quick question. Was it the Stephon Diggs trade that allowed Vikings to draft Justin Jefferson?
Yep.
Okay, because I was going to say, that GM kind of messed up because both of them dudes.
Yeah, it was that trade that gave him that first-round pick. But while you bring that up, that was the draft that the Eagles passed up on Jefferson.
Yeah, on Rager, yeah.
Drafted Rager. Could you imagine Jefferson on that team right now with those guys, Devontae Smith, and now A.J. Brown? Man, sometimes teams just overthink it. I don't know what they saw in Justin Jefferson. They said, nah, I'm good. Because I was screaming. After that, I was like, yo, this kid he's him. He's the one in that draft. Yep. Y'all need to go get him. And they was just like, nah, they didn't trust those LSU boys get slept on a lot. Even like Odell. Odell was like drafted number 13. Landry was a second-round pick. Those guys get slept on. I don't know what it is about the SEC that they don't think LSU receivers are those, but outside of Jamar Chase, who was a top pick. But those guys, I mean, in hindsight, they'll be picked a lot higher in a redraft. All right, we're going to pivot real quickly from the NFL to football, but just different form of football. We're going to talk about college football. Now, I've heard you on Twitter being very outspoken about this. I mean, I'm interested. A lot of games are like 78-20. Some games are 55-10. And you're just saying these blowouts are just way, way, way too annoying and not interesting for you. Is it not competitive enough to the point where like you're just not interested because every team gets blown out, basically?
Look, what makes the NFL great is literally that any given Sunday, any team could win, right? The level of, talent in the NFL is only this much. The championship team to the worst team in the league is 1 or 2 players away from them being equal. College football is not like that, right? If I wanted to watch an NBA game where the score was 79-69, I'd watch an NBA game. Yeah. It's not interesting enough for me to spend my whole Saturday watching college football when the game is over by halftime. Like, what is interesting about college football that people go crazy for it, bro? That's what I was trying to figure out with my tweet.
Culture. I think it's just the vibes, the energy. Someone told me there's no energy like college football. And I think it's because, well, from what they say, verbatim, college football is, they're not playing for money. Like a lot of those kids know they're never going to make the NFL. They're just literally playing for pride and for their school, for their brothers. NFL guys, I'm like, yo, I'm getting paid regardless. Like, I don't care what you do.
Not in the NFL?
What do you mean not in the NFL?
Because look at their contract situation. So the NFL, why do teams go out every Sunday and play hard? Because you're not guaranteed. If you said the NBA, I'm like, oh yeah, you can tell Eddie Curry is laddy-gogging around. But the NFL, you have to remain in the NFL, you got to go out there, perform, and give it your all, or you can be cut. We have Hall of Famers who get cut if they're not playing well. So
yes, but comparatively, NFL to college game, like look at Antonio Brown, for instance. That man didn't care a bit about having a next contract since he was in Pittsburgh. Like that behavior, guys can't do that in college because you might not be good enough to make the NFL.
That's not a good example because we all know AB is going through some mental stuff. It's not. How many players have done what AB has done?
Why you don't give Ben Simmons this kind of slack, bro?
Who?
The mental health slack that you get
Because
paid.
he's lying. Because I know for a fact he's lying. Ben Simmons is a liar. Yo, Pam, I'm a trainer. How all of a sudden your back is messed up? How did you pass the physical, my man? Let's use some common sense. When you get traded, you have to do a physical, right? They would have picked up if his back was messed up. So y'all gonna just lie to my face and tell me that he had some back surgery?
From what I gather, I think it's the overall toll. I don't know. Ben is saying the stress has caused some of the back issues. Now, whether it's caused him to not sleep, and that has lingered to some back issues. I don't know, bro. That the brother just said he came up, and he actually had a procedure. Didn't he say he had a procedure or something like that?
Right. He had a procedure. All right. But all right. So the person who told you about this whole college culture, to me, I never rock with a college culture just because I just don't like the business of college football in terms of okay, I just saw a report. Archie Manning went to go visit Texas A&M, and they're bragging yo, we spent $300,000 to show them around the town and take them to this nice hotel. So why can't I get paid the wide receiver that's
just for dinner
catching
too? That was
just for dinner?
Yeah,
$300K in 2 days on 10 recruits. But yeah, I'm a college player, and I'm every college player is worth approximately $800K. That's how much value that they bring to their particular school. I can't get paid, but you guys are whining and dining these dudes, and you're bragging about it. So all this thing about college culture, and I'm playing for my Ohio State school spirit, yeah, that's out the window. But a college football game should not be 88-15, bro.
Yeah, I agree. I don't watch. I'm not a casual college football watcher. I'm a Notre Dame fan. I watch them play every week. I'll watch big matchups: LSU versus Alabama, Oklahoma versus Oklahoma State or Texas, Ohio State, Michigan State. I'll watch, even the Indianas against the Ohio States because if the matchup is interesting enough. I'm not the dude that wakes up at 12 o'clock and just watches college football, whatever's on TV, and just watches it casually the whole day. I can't do that. I'm not that intrigued by every single team.
And let's keep it a stack. If football wasn't such a violent sport and physical sport, if players were able to leave from high school to go to the NFL, bro, 60 to 70% of them would try to go to the NFL.
Yes.
So them going to college ain't really because it's the passion of the game. It's because they have to go to college.
Of course, yeah. It's not.
So
it's not like
but that's just my gripe, man.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that at all. I like college football, but I'm not a college football crazy head who sits there all Saturdays and just watch. I'll go out on a Saturday.
Dude, your team be about 7, right? I done watch so many college football games. They're oh, Oklahoma needs 98 yards to tie the game.
Yeah.
Dude, they get the 98 yards in 3 plays. 40 yards, 30-yard pass. So, your game tied up. I'm come on, man.
Yeah, literally. No, I agree with that. All right. To wrap everything up, we're going to pivot from NFL to college football to baseball. Baseball season is coming down the stretch now. We are going into, the final couple weeks of the season. October is almost upon us. And as you know, MVP's conversations are heavy right now. The two candidates that most people are talking about, or at least debating, and I feel like we're both on the same side here, but we'll see, are Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees and Shohei Ohtani of the Los Angeles Angels. Who's your MVP, and is this even a debate?
I mean, to me personally, it shouldn't be a debate, because I just feel like whenever we talk about the MVP, there's so many qualifications that go into it, right? When we're talking about baseball is in comparative to any other sport, is really about stats. Let's keep it a stat. When players are hitting 50, 60, 70 home runs, we go crazy, right? So now you have someone like Aaron Judge, who's on pace to hit 68 home runs that haven't been done in damn near 15 years. And if he gets hot, he has a potential to even hit 70 that hasn't even been done in damn near 20 years since Barry Bonds, right?
Mhm.
So a casual fan will tell you like, oh my God, this guy is hitting all these home runs and his team is pretty good. So he should unanimously be the MVP. When I'm like, hold on, so you mean to tell me Ohtani is 13-8 as a starting pitcher? He gets the ball one every 5 days, pitching his ass off. ERA is 2.4. And on the days that he's not pitching, he's on pace to give you 40 home runs. You would have to go back to the Babe Ruth era of baseball when dudes were pitching.
What are you about to do here, bro? Go ahead.
Were pitching and hitting. So I'm going with Ohtani. He has to be it, right? And this is what I say, right? It all comes down to, in my opinion, Aaron Judge versus Ohtani is based off which team is a better team. Because I asked a simple question on Twitter. If both teams were a playoff team, would we even be having this discussion? I don't think we will, right? So if you scale back, look at the percentage of wins that came from Ohtani. Like, out of all the wins that the Angels had,
it's not how that works, bro.
Okay, so how did he win it last year then? If they didn't win, they didn't make the playoffs last year. They were even worse last year.
They wanted to give him the MVP award last year.
That's bull. He's the most valuable player to his team and the league.
How are you the most valuable player to your team in the league when your team hasn't been in the playoffs? How can that be possible?
Because the little amount that they win is because of him. The other day, your man pitched
hits every day.
Bro, the man pitched 7 shutout innings the other day, and the 2 runs that the Angels scored was off his bat in the same game.
The MVP award is not the best player award. You're arguing most outstanding player. If you ask me that, sure, give it to Ohtani. He's the most outstanding because he pitches every 5 days and he hits home runs. Blah, bitty blue, blah, bitty blah. That's awesome. Aaron Judge is literally, and I mean, like, baseball is a sport that one guy can't really carry a team. Aaron Judge is carrying the Yankees. If he doesn't hit home runs,
not true.
They don't score.
There's been multiple. I can name Vlad Guerrero, 02, who won the MVP, and when the Angels made it to the playoffs, he carried that team for 2 months. He carried them into the
2 months.
playoffs.
I'm talking about the season.
Nah.
Judge doesn't.
Nah. First half of the season, Yankees overall as a team was playing better. Yes, since the All-Star game, he's been carrying them. I'll give you that. I will give you that. He's been carrying them.
You know, coming in, people didn't even have them winning the division coming into this year. They're projected to win the division because of Aaron Judge. I hate the Yankees more than any team in sports. I don't like the Yankees at all. Aaron Judge, right now, these are his stats.
So Aaron Judge is the most outstanding player, like you just said.
He's the most valuable player because you take him off the Yankees and that team is the Angels. They're the Angels without the Yankees.
They're winning more games than the Angels.
I'm talking about comparative. They won't be a playoff team without Aaron Judge. Literally, when he doesn't play, they don't win.
Yeah, but he's always hurt. What you mean?
Not this year. We're talking about this year.
He's always hurt.
He's always hurt. He's not been hurt this year. That's wrong. He's played every single opportunity.
Yo, if Ohtani played for the Mets, you'd probably try to choke me through the screen to say that somebody else.
If he played for the Mets and the Mets were this good, absolutely. But if he played for the Mets and we were eliminated from playoff contention, absolutely not. I love Pete Alonso. I've been going and saying Pete Alonso is the best player in New York. I got to walk that back because Aaron Judge, what he's doing is different.
I'm not saying that it's not different. How is it different when we've seen tons of players hit 50, 60, 70 home runs?
Now we're talking about right now, G.
How's that? Bro, no. It's different if you have to go 100 years to get a great player that pitching his ass off and hitting his ass off that we haven't seen in years. It's not different seeing him, bro. It's not. So you're saying that feat, so that anyone could do it. That's what you're saying.
Y'all too impressed by that for me, bro. The man played. He grew up.
Oh my God.
He grew up, bro. His whole life, bro.
We used to give Dontrell Willis so much props, and Dontrell used to bat 7th and hit like 200 with a few home runs a year, and we used to give Dontrell Willis props.
Because Dontrell Willis is not he's not a two-way player.
But we're acting like. But what I'm saying is today, no,
or a hitter.
Okay, but can you name other players that's doing what Ohtani's doing? That's my point. You're making it seem like it's easy.
It's not about easy. It's about this is what he's done his whole life, Gene.
That nobody else is doing. He's doing something that no other player in MLB can do.
The last two?
What?
You think he'll be the last to do it now?
It'll be years before the next one comes.
Because you got to make it to the majors. It'll be years before somebody gets to the majors, Gene. You can't just start doing it at the major league level. Ohtani didn't just start doing it when the Angels drafted him. He's been doing this his whole life.
Yo, wait, hold on. But there's been a bunch of kids from to high school that pitch and hit. Yes, it is. It's the same thing.
Gene, Jacob deGrom was a shortstop. They told that brother, you're going to pitch. Once they start scouting you for major league, you don't do both. They get you to be one or the other.
If Jason deGrom was a better hitter, they would ask him to do both.
Jacob deGrom was a phenomenal hitter. Look up the numbers.
Apparently he wasn't.
It's different. This is like something we don't think is supposed to be happening. That's why it's like abnormal to us. If Jacob deGrom was
allowed, and you have to respect it though. That's my whole point. You have to respect it because no other player ain't doing it.
Don't give me that's why he's the MVP. That's garbage.
No. He's I made it perfectly clear. He's the MVP because he's doing both, and he's doing both exceptionally well.
Sucks. What is he doing? What is he doing? What, like, I don't understand what. I'm not knocking him. I just don't.
Yo. You know what? When we talk about baseball and the MVPs, let's not act like everyone who's won MVPs was on great fucking teams, was making playoffs like that. Basketball, yes. Other sport, NFL, yes. Baseball, if we go back in baseball and look over the past 20, 30
years. That's what's wrong with the award, G. That's what I've been saying is wrong with the award. There's been
tons of players who's winning these MVPs whose teams ain't good.
Does that mean it's right? How could you think about it? How can the most valuable watch the playoffs from home? It just doesn't even feel right.
Yo, if a team wins 70 games, and we have stats that show because those 70 games that your team won, you are solely responsible for 65 of those.
First of all, that's not a real stat. That's impossible. Okay, what you're saying is impossible, Gene. I know you're going to be responsible for 65 out of 70 wins.
No, that was an example I was giving you. Okay, but I'm saying
Ohtani plays 162, so he should be responsible for how many? At least enough to make the playoffs.
What I'm saying is, like the example I gave you the other day, they won 2-0. He pitched 7 shutouts and he drove both runs. But I'm saying that's what he's doing.
He's not doing that every night, though. You're making it sound like that's his normality.
Yeah, because they're a bad team.
But why? If he plays 100 games, he's playing 100 freaking games a year, Gene. Why are they a bad team?
What do you mean?
He pitches every 5 days and he hits every single day. If he hits every single day, the
rest of the team ain't doing nothing. Hold on. Mike Trout missed 100 games this year. Don't even mention Mike Trout.
Let's not even mention because he's won MVP while the Angels have not been very good.
Thank you.
But that's my point. That's what's wrong. He's the best player, but he's not the most valuable player. Because if Mike Trout is playing 160 or 150 out of 162 games, you're most valuable. Your team should not miss the playoffs.
Yo, if we said the precedence of just giving dudes MVPs when their teams were not making the playoffs, then I don't think it should change with the one guy that's dominating on 2 different aspects of baseball. That's my whole point.
But I've disagreed with the whole notion since the beginning of time. So it is.
I mean, that's what you can. But there's I'm watching dudes like if you go back, Bryce Harper won a year, and Phillies ain't make the playoffs. This dude won a year, and this team ain't made the playoffs. So like, why should I stop with this dude when this dude?
Bryce Harper didn't win it in Philly. He won it in Washington.
Washington, yeah, you know what I mean. But like,
he definitely made the playoffs that year.
No, I think because he's won it twice, right?
No, he's won it once.
No, Bryce Harper won it twice.
Twice. When was the other year?
Bro, Bryce Harper won it twice, man. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Unless he won it last year, he did not. He didn't win it unless he won it last year. Let me see. Bryce Harper MVP. When was his second MVP? So it was last year. He won it last year. The Phillies were a wild card team last year.
You know what I'm saying? Like these dudes, they be winning, man. Like
he's not even an MVP.
That's what I'm saying. Like.
But that's what I'm disagreeing with. You're trying to make it right because the system is wrong. I'm saying the entire system is wrong, and I don't think it should be that way. I don't think you should be an MVP and your team doesn't to take it away from Aaron Judge, who you said might hit 70 home runs this year, just doesn't make sense on a team that is literally relying on him. If you take Aaron Judge out of the Yankees right now, you just took their entire hope out the team. If you take Ohtani out the Angels, guess what you got? The Angels, who have not been very good anyway. So what has he like? Again, I'm not saying what does he do individually. We know he's phenomenal individually. He's the best.
What has Aaron Judge done? What has Aaron Judge done on the Yankees? Where has he led them to?
The playoffs every single year.
Oh my God, man.
What are we talking about?
He ain't win nothing, man.
You act like I'm mad about that. That
dude always hurt, man.
He's not hurt this year though, Gene. We're talking about who's the MVP this year.
Let's see what he do in the postseason.
I hope nothing. I hate
Let's see what he do in the postseason.
You act like you don't know how much I hate that team. Come on, beloved. You tripping right now. I think this will be interesting for the people to tell us what they think. Do they think Ohtani? So if you're watching or if you're listening, should Ohtani be the MVP even though the Angels have officially been eliminated?
Bro, you know Yankees fans run social media. They think Derek Jeter is Babe Ruth. So, of course, they're going to say Aaron Judge. I'm not impressed, man. I've seen 65 home runs before. Juan Gonzalez used to hit 65 every year. I'm good.
You're running from the grind right now, bro. You're running from the grind. You're being...
Juan Gonzalez used to give me 65 every year, bro.
So what Judge is doing is normal?
What
Aaron Judge is doing this year is normal?
I've seen it tons. I haven't seen dudes do what Ohtani's doing.
Tell me the tons. Who are the tons you've seen hit 60?
That's had what, 60?
That hit 60, yeah.
Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa.
60? Mark McGwire hit 60?
Didn't he hit 70?
No, Barry Bonds hit 70.
Bro, Mark McGwire hit like 60-something home runs. What are you talking about?
Mark McGwire,
Sammy Sosa done hit 60.
But those are steroid guys too, by the way. Are they? I mean, Gene. So let's just say what we want with no context.
Yo, what?
You brought up two guys
Baseball,
who
everyone. But you defend Barry Bonds every day.
Ohtani's on steroids.
You defend Barry Bonds every day. So don't talk about steroids.
Yes, Barry Bonds. But I think Barry Bonds pre-steroids was the greatest baseball player I ever saw. I'm not talking about
Ken Griffey Jr.
Ken Griffey's not
was doing it now. You crazy.
Ken Griffey's not been. Barry Bonds had like 4 MVPs while he was still skinny.
You crazy.
Who has more? Barry Bonds has more MVPs before steroids than Ken Griffey has his whole career.
Dude, Ken Griffey Jr. was hitting 55 home runs as a skinny motherfucker. Never took steroids.
Gene, did you hear what I just told you?
Barry was hitting 40-something home runs.
Barry had more MVPs while he was still scrawny than Ken Griffey has his entire career. He probably has more gold gloves as well. Barry's one of the only guys who are like 50-50 guys, home runs and stolen bases guys. One of the few guys in MLB history. And this is not a knock on Griffey, but there's tears to this.
We've seen 50 and 60 home runs before. We haven't seen
how many. Okay, I'm going to look up right now. Baseball players to hit 60. You act like there's like a long list. There's not a long list.
I said we've seen it.
Of course, we've seen it. We've seen guys score 60 in the NBA before, but there's not a long.
Okay, but going back to my original point, in your lifetime, you haven't seen a dominant pitcher who was also a dominant hitter.
The dominant pitcher and a dominant hitter.
Yeah, in your lifetime.
The guy grew up in Japan or Korea.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
I'm saying it's.
What does that mean?
It's not normal.
So you would respect it more. You would respect it. Yo, okay, so
it's not normal.
How many tons of Japanese players came over here? They don't do it. So why are they not doing it?
He's fantastic. You're taking the point away.
Bunch of Hispanic players come here. Why are they not doing it then?
Gene, because it's not normal.
Thank you.
But that's his advantage, doing something that's not normal.
So we should reward him because he's doing something that nobody else is doing.
We should give you the MVP even though your team stinks. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's give it to the guy who's probably on steroids hitting 50 and 60 shit that we've seen. But in your lifetime, yo, when the Aaron Judge story about him taking steroids come out, bro, I'm gonna be laughing for 3 days, man.
Okay, these are the guys right here. Since you telling me there's this gigantic list, Babe Ruth.
I've said we've seen it before. I didn't say it was a gigantic list.
You said there's a ton of guys.
No. We're gonna rewind the tape then. We're gonna watch the episode again.
So you just said we've seen it before.
I said
no,
yes.
We've seen it before.
I said we've seen it before.
Okay.
We've seen players hit 50 and 60 before. I said that's nothing new.
Barry Bonds has done it.
I did not say that there's the list of 70 players who hit 60 home runs. I know what I said. And again, we can listen to it again.
But when I say what he's doing is fantastic, you made it sound like it wasn't, because people have done it before.
So I've seen it before. Yes.
It's not fantastic because people have done it before. So I'm saying
going back to the original, what this argument is about, these two players. I'm saying in comparison to what Ohtani is doing, I've seen
what he's doing is losing 100 games. He's
the only one losing on the team. Okay.
He plays so he's the only one winning too. He's the only one winning. Okay. So
he's the main reason he's winning.
He gets credit for all the wins, but all the losses, which is way more than wins, he's completely avoided.
Hey, and I'm guessing Aaron Judge is the reason why all the Yankees are winning.
Absolutely.
Hell no.
And I hate that team.
Hell no.
Absolutely.
Hell no.
You take out Aaron Judge from that team, they are a zero.
Still a playoff team.
That's a poll I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do that poll. Are the Yankees a playoff team without Aaron Judge? People are gonna laugh off the. They're gonna laugh off the.
Of course they are.
You gotta be kidding me.
Of course they are.
Bro, Aaron Judge,
Mike Stanton.
Mike Stanton hasn't played. He's played like 20 games this year. He's literally. You're talking about injured. He's literally been still.
Former MVP Mike Stanton.
He's literally been stealing money, and he's never hit 60. He's only hit 59. Mike Stanton, by the way, for the record. So if you're listening to this, Gene is scared of being wrong about the entire conversation. But if you're listening to this, let me know.
Wrong, I'm right.
Do you think Shohei Ohtani should be the MVP, or do you think all rise Aaron Judge should be the MVP? And second question of that part is, do you think Aaron Judge off the Yankees, are they still a playoff team? Gene says yes. I say absolutely not. They are not a very good team at all without Aaron Judge, as that's been proven all year. Thank you for tapping in. We're going to wrap it up here. We'll save more of this spicy conversation for y'all next time. Make sure you guys are subscribing on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter, Designated Report. Make sure you type into future episodes and on Anchor as well. Make sure you subscribe to our Anchor. We have a lot of new stuff that we're dropping on there, some ads that we're doing with Anchor. Just check in. Send us any questions, anything that you want us to cover for future episodes, and we'll do our best to touch on them. Until then, any final words you want to say, my brother?
Nah, man. Lord Ohtani, come on. Back-to-back MVPs.
No way, Jose. We will see y'all on the flip side, brothers and sisters. What's the Woods guy always say? Holla at a player when you see him in the streets. Peace.
Peace.